Hello all, Joe Weaver here. Another beautiful day. We had a little break in the wintry weather and it's a little bit warm the last few days, which has been nice to have a little break. Haven't had to wear as many jackets and clothes and everything else. It's been nice. So today I wanted to share some information regarding thought form creations and how our creations, or say in what we create, how we're becoming more aware of our own creations, or say how our thought creations are affecting our life experience as everything continues to transform here on Earth. So as you know, many people are experiencing now, and as my last video, I put the 2015 and 2014 review together and shared that about living in the now. You know, we're integrating more of our expanded senses, our ability to sense more of our energetic systems, our expanded senses that go beyond our normal, say, taste, touch, and smell kind of senses. You know, our expanded intuitive abilities and knowingness of our different connection to the different levels of our, say, energetic systems, not only of our physical body but the earth, and how the, you know, our collective experience works together. So the biggest part that I wanted to share with this is how, you know, we talked about a year ago at the beginning of 2014 that we were stepping more into our, say, God self-awareness, God self-knowingness, say that level of clarity of our diamond, say, consciousness. And as with greater clarity, everything becomes more known. Say, what we weren't able to perceive or, say, comprehend before is now we are more easily comprehending what, say, how we create, and how we create not only individually but also collectively together. So in the New Paradigm MDT seminar courses, one of the initial meditations that we do in that seminar course is clearing and talking about thought forms, and how 99% or 99.9% of all the, say, what we may view as dark energy or dark thought forms and so on are self-created and self-held onto. And so in a way, the thought forms is what makes up our shadow body. And a shadow body is just a level of our energetics that experienced old, you know, 3D reality. And also, you know, it's the living in illusion and separation. So it's not just like one thought form. Our energetic systems and are basically made up of thought forms. As I mentioned in a past video, I'm not sure which one it was, a couple times ago, I mentioned that, you know, our shadow body in itself is a thought form, and so is the physical body basically a thought form of, again, our expanded self. So, you know, it all breaks down into different layers. And as we're stepping more into our power, more into our expanded knowingness, our crystalline, say, DNA and so on is becoming more online, becoming more, living it. We're becoming more aware of our thought forms. So, you know, the easiest way that I found to really clear these thought forms is pay attention to how and what we're living through. Is there a thought pattern? Because the pattern, when we have a thought and we put some kind of initiative or action or emotion behind it, it actually creates a, say, a ball of energy. and we then can use that ball of energy to put forth action. Say if we were going to want to create a goal, or we wanted to go on a trip somewhere, or if we wanted to have a new house to live in or whatever, we would create that intention through, and we would create the details regarding it and all that stuff, and that basically becomes a thought form. And then we work in the details about it. How are we going to, basically this is all going to fall together, and through that creation we experience the, say, going on a trip somewhere eventually whenever that time comes, or we might have it to where we eventually find a new place to live. But the initial creation of putting the pieces together basically creates that thought form. And the thought forms are what we live through. We actually experience life through these thought forms. And so at the same point, we could do it for creating new things in our life, but we also, we're still transforming and transitioning out of the old paradigm, old patterns and so on, and integrating more of our expanded, say, crystalline knowingness. So the old patterns and so on that we used to hold on to regarding judgment of ourselves, say we may be not good enough to experience something, or say we're not worthy of something, these old patterns and perceptions that we hold against ourselves, again, are thought forms. The same thing goes for perceptions we have about other people in the world, how other people live their lives. All these other perceptions and so on are tied together through thought form creations. And these thought forms basically that have to do with either separation in the world, the levels of duality, and so on, are what we experience life through. So, as the statement that I like to use, through your own personal transformation, you transform the world. In a way, it's through your own letting go and transforming these thought forms that you're still holding on to separation. It allows you to experience life in a new way, and then also it changes the energetics of every single thing around you and the people around you. So trying to come up with or some new things to describe some different alternative ways to look at the thought forms in themselves. Fear in itself is, tied into a program that, we live through. The same thing with judgment and the ego consciousness. It's, the ego in itself, when we are born, the ego is basically just, it's a blank slate. But as we grow older, the ego learns. And then when, as we grow older, probably about 8 or 9 years old, the ego has built its structure. It has built its awareness, and it's taking that from its, the surroundings. It's, our mother and father, or say a culture or where we live, and these fears, these belief systems that we have integrated, that we live through with ego consciousness, in a way is a thought form itself. The ego is a thought form. So just as, the old saying is, let go of the ego. Transform your ego through your own releasing the patterns that live through the ego. So, if you look at it just in a different way, is a sphere of energy, a sphere of consciousness in itself is, ego is just one level that we, that was attached to this physical body when we were born. The physical body was born. So we experienced life, in those initial years through the physical body, but also through that level of consciousness. as we let go of those patterns, we let go of the judgment and the fear and all those programs that are tied into the shadow body, which is the ego, we experience life on a much more expanded way. Our expanded knowingness and so on, we're able to live through. So, this goes into more of our expanded multidimensional knowingness. The ego was just an expression that we live through, when we live through the physical body, and then, at a period of time until we transform it. But so are the other levels of our multidimensionality, are basically different levels of thought form creations that we live through. We experience life through these levels. So they are portals. And just like we talk about and we do with say creating sacred space or creating vortexes or working with the earth, we are essentially creating an energetic field that has parameters. It may have size, it may have things that we, with our intention, that we put into those parameters, such as we were creating a sacred space for a seminar course or workshop. We would we would create the parameters of what our intention is for that space. The same thing is when we're working with vortexes on the earth. We are putting our intention into what's going on and also assisting in the transformation of that space. So, in a way, those are just different types of thought form creations that, again, if you look at it in another way, it's basically a sphere. It might not be exactly round, but it is a portal in a way. So, our levels of energetic systems, the chakra system, the light bodies, how our energetic systems are all tied together, again, is a portal for our expanded self to experience life through. So as we are integrating more of our multidimensional awareness as the days go on, we're become more aware and see what patterns are tied into your own thought form creations. And once with anything that we try to push away, say if we try to push away the ego, it's just going to come back harder. So it's a matter of finding the sides of those thought forms that you're still experiencing life through, that you no longer align with harmony and balance and say Mahatma love, is to find the edges of those thought forms that you wish to no longer experience life through, and then basically transform them with the expanded energy that you have available to you, that dissolves it into harmony and balance. That is the biggest key. Is all these thought form creations that we have created, not only individually but collectively. It's not like we're going to send them off somewhere to another part of the universe. It's a matter of us transforming what already exists, not only within us, but what is here through our own personal transformation. So, if something keeps coming up to you on a daily basis, or you keep getting faced with the same scenario, or you're depressed about something, or have anxiety about a certain scenario, look a little bit deeper into it. Go deeper and relax when you find the time to do it. Go in there and ask questions, the reason why you're still experiencing this. Ask yourself, ask your own divine self, say, why am I continuing to experience this? I wish to now transform this experience into harmony and balance. And go into it. Go to the full lengths all the way. If you experience emotion, while going through some of these things, that means it's processing it. You know, a lot of times we have to process things through in order to transform them. So if you experience an emotion, then embrace it. Go to the full length of everything that you experienced into that bubble of experience and transform it, and go with your awareness either eyes closed or eyes open, and just feel through it until it is no longer in existence. Basically, you feel nothing but harmony and balance regarding that situation or what you are perceiving. The same thing with forgiveness. Forgive yourself, forgive others. That assists in transformation also, and dissolving these thought form creations that we are still holding on to. When I say still holding on to, it's just a part of how we experience life. It's so it's not like there is a good bad thing here. It's a matter of how we wish to experience life. If you wish to experience more harmony and balance in your life, then start looking at the thought form creations that you have created and also still holding on to. By dissolving them, you will have a lot more harmony and balance in your life and have more joy, peace, love, and happiness. So I think that's the biggest, those are the main points that I wanted to share today, is we're stepping more into our own power. As we do that, the veils of illusion basically dissolve away. We become more aware of our creations. So we do that individually, but also we are doing it as a collective. We're doing this as a collective also. And so I guess that's it for today. I'll see you all next time. Namaste.